Nobody looks human anymore, and it's definitely spreading. That's the same person all three times, the same person. So, what happened to the original?
Something has gone terribly wrong with beauty. Look closely at this face. Now this one. And this.
I know I'm not the only one seeing it, and you're not imagining it either. We've gone from Instagram face to something way more extreme. It's like a new category of beauty where everybody is chasing a very specific, very hollowed out, hyper sculpted look, and the more perfect their faces get, the less human they look.
Hollywood men don't look human anymore, and hear me out, okay? Have you noticed that some famous men don't seem to be aging anymore? I mean, not aging well or badly per se, just not aging period. Or they look like, AI versions of themselves. Whether it's fillers, Botox, cosmetic treatments, or something else entirely, some of Hollywood's biggest male stars are starting to look less like themselves and more like highly edited versions of themselves.
And I want to be careful with this video, because there's a version of this conversation that turns into tearing women apart for what they do with their own faces. And that's not what this is. But something is going on, and I don't think we're being honest about what it actually is. Because this is not just people are getting work done. People have always gotten work done. That's not new. But what's new is everyone is getting the same work done, and they're ending up at the same place. The same jaw, the same cheeks, the same lip, the same frozen forehead, the same smile full of teeth that didn't come from their mouth. We went from a world where beautiful people look nothing alike, and that was the magic of it, to a world where beautiful people are starting to look like slightly different renders of the same character. And the thing that actually made me want to make this video, it's not staying in Hollywood anymore. It's spreading. It started with celebrities. Then it hit influencers. Then it hit everyday people. Then it hit men. And now it's reaching children. If beauty is supposed to be the thing that makes you you, what happens when it starts making you everybody else? I want to show you how this spread. Go look at an award show from 2004. Just pull it up. I'm serious. Go pull it up. Pause this video and go look. You'll notice something immediately. Every woman on that carpet looks different. Not different like, oh, they're wearing different dresses. Different like their faces don't match each other. Different bone structures, nose, mouths, some wide, some crooked, some with gaps, foreheads that actually move, eyes that actually crinkle when they laugh. And here's the thing. Not all of them were considered the most beautiful women alive.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everyone looks better when they don't touch their face. I feel like people look better with wrinkles, with these new cat eye wrinkles I've got, or just when you can really see people emoting with their face. They look better than whatever this is. This is supposed to be hot with your just cheeks just sticking straight, you're just in a permanent state of absolute shock. How is this hotter? I don't get it. I don't know. I'm straight, so I'm looking at men with new, just full new face. And I'm you look hotter with wrinkles. Wrinkles? I don't want to look 20.
Some of them were just interesting to look at. And that was enough. That was beauty. Looking like someone you'd actually remember. Now, pull up an award show from last year and count how many different faces you see. Because you won't get past 5. I'm telling you that right now. You'll see the same lifted brow, the same hollow cheek, the same lip that doesn't quite close, the same jawline that's a little too sharp, the same skin that doesn't have a single pore on it. And every single one of them is beautiful on paper. But standing next to each other, they look generated. People used to age into their faces. Now they update them like softwares. And that's where it started. Hollywood. The place that's always set the beauty standard. But in the past, even when those standards were toxic, you still had varieties. You could move towards standard and still look like yourself on the way there. Something changed, and what changed was the algorithm. The filters on TikTok and Instagram don't just smooth you out. They rebuild your face. They lift your cheeks. They shrink your nose. They fatten your lips. And every single filter rebuilds you towards the same destination. Not your best face, the algorithm's face. And after enough hours of seeing that face on every app, every explore page, every influencer, your brain starts believing that's what beautiful is supposed to look like. So when a woman walks into a surgeon's office and say, "Make me beautiful," she's not describing herself. She's describing a filter. That's a render target. And millions of people are trying to load into the same one. The internet optimized beauty until it stopped looking alive. So that's the first wave. Celebrities chased it, filters locked it in, and then it jumped. Because it didn't stay in Hollywood. This used to be a celebrity's problem. Facelifts, nose jobs were for people on magazine covers. The average person wasn't walking into a surgeon's office at 25. That wasn't normal. Now it is. Lip filler appointments booked on lunch breaks. Brow lifts at 23. Buccal fat removal because your face was too round.
Have you guys noticed people looking less and less human? The more and more we are seeing certain people, they are almost unrecognizable. Like the light and the life that we once saw in their eyes has fled far from them. I want to bring this up today because the Bible warns us that in the end days, people will be lovers of themselves, boasters, proud. It says that even the very elect will be deceived. This obsession with achieving perfection and vanity, being in a fountain of youth and frozen in time. The Bible says there is an unfading beauty that is internal. It is not external how we adorn ourselves, but as our flesh is aging, God is rewarding our spiritual lamp. We are getting brighter, gaining rewards and crowns, but we're so focused on what our flesh looks like. The world is trying to push perfection. That is making it almost like being human isn't enough. They're trying to preserve the flesh while God is trying to preserve our heart.
Ozempic prescribed not for diabetes, but for a jawline. And veneers. The one thing the comments absolutely will not let go of. Veneers are the perfect example of what this whole video is about. Your teeth are one of the most individual things on your face. The slight overlaps, the little gaps, the one that sits just a little crooked. There was a time when that was a signature. Think about the models who were famous because of the gap in their teeth. Now the standard is a wall of identical white squares. And everyone who gets them ends up with the same smile, not a better version of their smile, just a smile, the one that everyone has now. This is no longer a thing celebrities do and everyday people admire from a distance. It's a thing your coworker does, your cousin does, the girl you went to high school with does. It normalizes so fast that if you don't do it, you start to feel like you're the one that looks wrong. That's how it spreads, through pressure from the side. When everyone around you starts looking one way, your natural face starts to feel like the odd one out. Celebrities used to look expensive. Now they look assembled. And that assembly line opened up to everyone. But it didn't stop there because then it jumped to men. You've got teenage boys newing in class, ordering jawline exercisers off TikTok Shop. The looks maxing pipeline took the exact same thing that's been happening to women's faces for a decade and handed it to 15-year-old boys, except with the whole ideology attached. Same hollow cheeks, same sharp jaws, same hunter eyes. There's a literal checklist. And if your bone structure doesn't match it, you're already behind. Turkey teeth strips, jawline fillers, under eye filler at 22. This is not a woman's thing anymore. Both sides are heading towards the same place. Women towards one phase, men towards another. And neither phase looks like someone you'd actually recognize in a crowd. And the scariest part is where this wave is hitting now. Children. A 10-year-old shouldn't be able to describe a buccal fat removal, but go ask one. When a 12-year-old girl opens TikTok and a beauty filter snaps onto her face before she can even see herself, what's happening in that moment? She's not comparing herself to a celebrity. She's not even comparing herself to another girl. She's comparing herself to a digital reconstructed version of her own face. And she prefers it. Think about what that means. The standard isn't another person anymore. It's a version of you that doesn't exist. And every single time you close that filter and see your real face, it feels like a downgrade. You start feeling like your actual face is the wrong one. And boys are in it just as deep. A 13-year-old measuring his jaw angle, rating himself on a scale he found on a forum. He hasn't even finished growing. His bones are literally still forming. And he's already decided he's broken. The generation before us compared themselves to celebrities and magazines. This generation is comparing themselves to AI-filtered versions of their own faces.
Today I learned that this new viral beauty filter was created using machine learning. Unlike traditional beauty filters that use an augmented 3D face mesh that is overlaid on top of your face, filters like Bold Glamour, Teenage Look, uses a machine learning tech called GAN, meaning every pixel on your face is regenerated and then outputted after referencing another data set of images, which is why the filter looks so realistic. That is all. This is Zangsta, over and out.
And the distance between what they see and what they see in the mirror and what they see on the screen, that gap is where self-worth disappears. Someone left a comment on a video that inspired this one. It said, "After this video, I looked in the mirror and I was so happy to see how ugly I was." She was relieved to look ugly because ugly meant she still looked like herself. That's where we are. Looking like yourself is the exception. And here's what scares me where this goes next. There are already AI influencers with millions of followers, faces that were never real to begin with. And people are comparing themselves to those too. We're not far from a generation of kids who won't remember what a natural human face actually looks like because they stopped being the ones that got the most attention. Think about the most magnetic person you've ever met in real life. Not on a screen, in a room. Someone you couldn't stop looking at. They probably weren't perfect. They probably had the nose that was a little too big, or the laugh line that showed up early, or the gap, or the scar, or the face that didn't match a single filter on any app, and you couldn't look away. Not because they were flawless or anything, but because they were specific. That's what's being lost. Not beauty. The thing that made them them. The thing about a face that belongs to that person and nobody else. The thing that makes a stranger stop and look, not because you're perfect, but because you're interesting. Perfection is forgettable. It's the imperfection that makes someone impossible to forget. And right now, we're watching an entire generation trade the thing that makes them impossible to forget for the thing that makes them impossible to tell apart. Beauty was never supposed to be a uniform. It was supposed to be a fingerprint. And somewhere along the way, millions of people started sanding theirs off and calling it pretty. It's been your girl, Remy Renee here. If you are new to my channel, I want to take the time to say welcome to my channel and feel free to drop any topics in the comment section below that you would like me to talk about. So I'll see you guys in my next video.